Hey friend, this is episode number 554 of the And So podcast with Taylor Bradford. Let's get to it. Boss Girl Creative presents And So with Taylor Bradford, business and life musings from a successful serial entrepreneur. Each week, you will hear Taylor spill the tea on all things business, life, relationships, health, and everything in between. But don't worry, each week also includes a business nugget that will help you stay on course. And now a throwback to 3-year-old Taylor who inspired all of this.
And so.
Hello, welcome to episode 554. I'm your host, Taylor Bradford. Thank you so much for tuning in, pressing play. I have lots to talk about with you, so let's just get right into it. So what's been going on in my garden? Well, I am waiting impatiently for seeds to sprout. I got my tomatoes and peppers and yarrow planted a little over a week ago, and I'm still waiting for them to sprout. And those guys do take a little bit longer than the onions, which started germination within 3.5 days. Like, onions were like, I am going to do this. So I am still waiting on peppers and tomatoes to even sprout, but that is normal. I do need to start my marigolds. I was supposed to do that on Sunday, but I did not do that. I was actually working on the course. And I've got a big update for that. I need to plant out my onions, but we are finally into our winter weather period, and we've had a couple of hard freezes within the last week, and now we have like wintry storm mix coming in, which is happening this weekend, and so I don't know when I'm going to get the onions out. So, TBD. And I still need to pull all the metal stakes out of the garden and my water system out of the garden so I can get the garden tilled over and refreshed for the next planting season. So I have some work that I still need to do. My pad site for my greenhouse is ready, so I think possibly my plumber is next, or maybe my concrete forms are next. I don't know what's next, but the pad site's ready, so that's good. And all right, so let's move into what's been going on with the house build. I am getting my stone ordered today, so it should be here fairly quickly, although this winter storm should or probably will delay them driving it to me. So TBD on when it might even arrive. And I'm trying to work on getting a quote from Home Depot for my plumbing fixtures, so like the bathroom stuff and the kitchen stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that is next up for the house. I did meet with my trim carpenter. I do need to get him my house plans, and then I need to go visit with the lumber companies to get trim options, door options, etc. I finished The Secret Library of Hannah Reeves by Christine Nolfi. I gave that 4 stars. It was a cute read. I started it actually physically reading it on my Kindle, and then I was like, I'm never going to get this book done. So I found it on Audible and then listened to it, and I finished it in a day because I have more time to listen than to pick up and read a book right now. So let's talk about the course. My course is actually finished and it's live, which is such an incredible feeling. And now I'm like, now where are the sales? I wanted to sell. I worked so hard. So it's finished. It's live. I have sent the course to 4 different people for review/testimonials. I have already received 1 back, and I created a graphic, and it's now sitting on my checkout page. If you want to go see my checkout page, go to thehouseofsugarcreek.com/stopgardenpests, all one word, Stop Garden Pests, to get there. Or just go to my Instagram or my TikTok, and the link in bio will take you right there. And so I sent it to 2 friends, and I sent it to 2 TikTokers that I have met and have exchanged a lot of like back and forth messages with, and have kind of gotten to know them on TikTok. So they didn't know me prior to my TikTok account, which is right at a year old now. And so I felt like they were far enough outside of my circle, but somebody I could ask if they would do this for me. And both of those people said yes, and one is already finished, so that is super awesome. So I have updated my bio links everywhere. I have officially completed 15 days into my jar series that I've been doing, and I've kind of been using it up as tee-up content for the course itself. And I went back into those 15 days on Instagram and Facebook and updated the messaging about the course so that if somebody finds that in the future, it's got the right messaging, like the course is already live. And then, but on TikTok, you can only edit your captions if it's within the last 7 days. So anything over 7 days, you cannot update the caption, which is kind of a bummer, and I don't really understand why, but you can't. So if you didn't know that, now you do. What I've noticed on TikTok is I have more saves and more follows than any other platform right now from this particular series. I do have more follows on Facebook than I do on Instagram. It's very interesting to watch how this all plays out, but I still have 15 days left to go. And what I'm really trying to figure out is what platform I am going to focus on hardcore for a year running this course or selling this course. So TBD on how it really all kind of flushes out, but TikTok is getting more traction. However, it'll be harder to share links or get any kind of automations set up with TikTok without having a business account. And yeah, anyways, so TBD still. I did take an upsell course and I pivoted away from the order bump that I was going to use in my checkout page. So I'm working on ironing out exactly what is going to be included in this new order bump, and then I need to build it out and get it added. So what I'm going to be doing versus what I was going to do, I'm going to be doing some pest-free garden plans as the order bump. And I previously thought I was going to sell the garden planner, the pest-free garden planner, but I realized it has way more value for the price point that I need to use in the order bump. So the garden planner is actually going to be the first upsell in the funnel past the initial checkout page. And it's because of how you create your upsell funnel system. Like you have to have this arc where you have your main offer, which is, let's say, $27. And then you have your order bump, which is still valuable, but is at minimum $10 less than your main offer. So $17 can be your order bump. And then you spike it up into your highest offer, which is your first upsell once they get past the order bump. And that is where I plan on putting the planner. Now, technically, it should be something like in the under $200 range if you're going low ticket, but I don't have, or I haven't decided what that could be. So this thing is going to be like $37, which is more than my initial offer, which I'm running it under $27 or right at $27. And then the order bump is $17. And then the planner is going to sell for $37. But I could put a $197 offer there if I had one. I've also been toying with a community, which if I did a one-time payment for lifetime access into a Facebook group or a school community, or Kajabi even has communities, but I don't know that you can limit who goes in there. I have to do some more research. that could be the $197 price point. And then I could put the planner right behind it as the next upsell for $37 or whatever I decide to price it out at. So your main offer, then your order bump is like $10 less. And then your first upsell, you swing them up into a big curve at $197. Then your second upsell can be as much as $97. You could offer a downsell if it's not taken and give them a discount to still get them to buy it. And then your third upsell, if you keep going, needs to be less than your order bump. Your fourth upsell, if you keep going, needs to be around the same amount as your main offer. And then your final upsell needs to be less than your first order bump. So main offer, order bump, upsell 1, upsell 2 with a downsell, upsell 3, 4, and 5. So you can do up to 5 in your funnel with a downsell, which is still the same product, you're just discounting it. So if you haven't heard these words before, your order bump is adding to an existing order right out of the gate, and it's done at the point of checkout. Your upsell, technically in the retail world, is buying X instead of Y. That is really what an upsell is, but we don't want them to do that. We don't want them to change their mind and hang the dress back up on the clothing rack and getting the skirt instead. We want to cross-sell. So when you hear me say upsell, I'm actually meaning cross-sell, and that just means you want to add fries to your hamburger order. You want to add fries and a Coke to that. That is truly what's called a cross-sell. But in the terminology of like Samcart and Kajabi, they're using the word upsell, which is kind of confusing, but anyways, just go with it. And then a downsell is still buying X product, but at a cheaper rate. So it's not a different product. It's just the same product at a cheaper rate. Oh, but wait, you know, those late night infomercials totally have this nailed. They're like, oh, but wait, get it for $47 instead of $197. Anyways, so that gives you kind of some hierarchy into that funnel and kind of where I am in my mindset of what it is that I'm going to be doing. But the whole purpose of having a funnel is to support your main offer. These need to be tools and resources that make your main offer easier to get through. Like, how can you best support your main offer with the things that you align in your funnel? They don't need to be anything unrelated. They have to be true supporting actors for your main offer. Okay, so that is that. I feel like I still have quite a bit to do. And then, you know, the bigger task is the traffic. But I have time to figure that out. So that is my update on my course. Let's now dive into search bar confessions. I have been Googling Kohler everything, so that is what I've decided to put in my house for plumbing fixtures. Girl Scout cookies. So part of my book club with Sharon McMahon, there is a Girl Scout troop, or there was, the Girl Scout troop still exists, but there was a call for a Girl Scout troop in Minnesota that was really struggling with the ability to go out and sell their Girl Scout cookies because of the uneasiness happening in their community in Minnesota. So it was shared. I bought cookies. We literally, as a group, I don't know how many people, but we overwhelmed Girl Scout and their cookie buying, and we tapped out how many cookies this troop could actually sell. So yay us. And I just got the notification that my cookies are in process and going to be processing soon and then out for delivery, which is exciting. But it's just so heartwarming to be a part of a community that knows how to rally when the cry for help is like put in front of us. And the fact that we shut down Girl Scout cookies, which is such a random thing to be able to say that we did, but we did. And this troop, we just made their day, and we probably made these little girls' lives. So that's awesome. So I was Googling what are my Girl Scout cookie options. because it's been a while since I've ordered them. I also Googled onion slips / starts versus sets because I saw somebody asking a question like, what is the difference? And I was like, I don't know how to describe this to you, so let me go find an image. And then I can help walk you through what you're looking for. And so that's what I Googled for a photo. What does a steam shower do? And do I need one? So I Googled that. And just FYI, you can install steam showers into your existing shower setup. However, it does take some taking tile off the wall, etc. But you cannot use them at the same time with your shower. Like, it is meant to either be a steam shower that you are experiencing or a shower. You cannot use them both. You will overwhelm the steam shower generator. So just food for thought there. I Googled grow bags because that is how I'm going to grow my potatoes this year. I put them in the ground. They had really great green leaves, but they totally failed. So I am going to do them differently this next growing season. And then I Googled how many potatoes can you fit in a 10-gallon grow bag because I didn't know that answer. Because I am doing this series on Instagram and TikTok, I wanted to know, how do you make a series on TikTok when you don't have 10,000 followers? So I figured out that kind of workaround. So when you save videos on Instagram or TikTok, you can put them in folders. Well, you can make your folders public on TikTok, and then it puts it up in kind of the navigation area on your profile so that if somebody is curious as to what is sitting in your own little navigation of your own TikTok profile, they can find your series. So if you have under 10,000, that's your workaround. I also Googled how to use Kajabi with Samcart, how to connect Kajabi with Samcart. I figured that out. That is now why my course is live, which is exciting. And then randomly I saw someone on TikTok eating a sweet potato whole after she baked it. And I was like, I didn't know you could eat sweet potato skin. Can you really? So I Googled, and yes, you can, if you didn't know that either. So that's it for Search Bar Confessions for the week. All right, now let's get into the business nugget, which happens to be related to all the things that I'm doing in my course, but specifically back-end marketing, which is actually the workhorse of your profit center of the customers that come into your funnel. So these are buyers. These are already people that have bought from you. And so how do you back-end market to them? So once you capture someone in a paid funnel, you need to do everything you possibly can to set yourself up for more profit in your back-end offers. So it will be behind your actual order funnel system. So this is not your upsells. It is not your downsells. It is past all of their checkout activity. And then it is them getting into your course and then you getting emails to them, etc. So it's not your initial sales offer and the funnel that's behind your sales offer. It is selling beyond that. So inside of your course, putting links in your description, in your captions. It is sidebar ads within your course framework. It is hello bar ads within your course framework. It is navigation links within your course framework. It's coupons, it's retargeting, it's email sequences. It is the continual selling, whether or not it's intentionally by you creating a weekly email or teeing them up to something that you're about to launch, or it is intentional in the sense of like you set it up and then you forget about it because it's like the sidebar ads in your course framework. So the mindset of doing all of this is you are casting a fishing net and getting as many fish in as you can, and then making sure your back-end marketing is set up to constantly be refeeding them with things that you have to sell. Now, if you are following 5-1s, you won't do any of like the email tee-ups or the product launches until you've hit the 1 million in revenue on the main product that you're offering. So it does not include the order bumps, like that just helps you get to the 1 million faster. But you don't actively try to limit your focus on anything other than driving traffic to your main offer. So you don't work on nurture sequences. You don't do any of that. You don't actively email other than them getting like access to their course and making sure their passwords are figured out and the links to save, etc. So your back-end marketing, if you're in that 5 1s framework, you will just set your course up to sell. You will set your captions, your hello bar, your navigation to give yourself opportunities to do more selling. So truly, there are things you can do even following 5 1s that can help you do more selling, but your focus in 5 1s is driving traffic, getting as much traffic as possible to your main offer. But don't forget that back-end marketing is actually your profit center, or can be your long-time profit center. So Todd Brown talks about this a lot if you want to go out and do some more research on back-end marketing. Todd Brown is his name. So your front-facing content is your obvious content, your stories, your reels, anything that's being consumed by someone for free. And then your back-end stuff is where you can make more money. So don't leave money on the table and don't lose momentum by having a super hot lead in your system because they've already bought. So you're not overcoming trying to get them. You already have them. So front end captures, but the back end keeps them moving through all of your systems. It helps you build relationships. It is truly your profit engine. And it allows you to build deeper value and continued engagement with those humans because they've already raised their hand to you. They've already given their money to you. So usually what you focus in on front end is acquisition costs and conversion rates, but on your back end, you are focusing on lifetime value and profitability. How much value will someone bring over time? Well, that is what you figure out with all of this back end marketing that you do. And your customers, you have a greater opportunity to make them lifetime buyers of the things that you create. Just because you've already gotten them in your doors, they raised their hand, they gave you their money, they are more likely to buy from you in the future. I'm really curious to see how this works out in my own niche, in the gardening niche. And so obviously I will be documenting and sharing that with you. But yep, so thank you for listening to this week's episode. I hope you found it valuable. I would love if you have questions or takeaways, pop into my DMs over on Instagram at Boss Girl Creative. Until next week, I hope you have a great rest of this one. And like my 3-year-old self said, that is all for this week. Friendly reminder to rate and review my show wherever you are listening. And last but not least, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me an audio message at bossgirlcreative.com/speak. I would love to hear your takeaways, ideas for upcoming episode topics, and your feedback. Thank you again for listening to this week's episode. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of this one.